Dune Imperium is one of many recent games to be set in Frank Herbert's iconic desert fantasy world. No, not that one. Nope. Kinda?
I don't like sand.
That's just Star Wars again? That's the one. What makes this one stand out from the rest though is that instead of being a war game of some sort or other, or a weird detective game, Dune Imperium adopts the innovative idea of combining the evergreen mechanism of worker placement with deck building. I mean, it's not like there's some other high-profile game that came out around the same time and utilized the same exact combination, right? However, instead of being a themeless optimization puzzle about trying to squeeze out a few more resources to go up a little bit higher on a track and earn a few more points, Dune Imperium is all about earning some resources to go up on a few tracks and to earn a few more victory points, with the notable addition of war to spice up your usual dry Euro experience. So, war, what is it good for? Well, for starters, it gives each round of Dune Imperium the same thing you get at the end of a date that's gone really well, a climax. It also permeates the entire game with a sense of palpable tension. The rewards for winning the fight are significant, but so is the price you pay for overcommitting and losing. After all,
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
as if all of that wasn't enough, it also addresses a major issue with player engagement and interaction that's often present throughout the worker placement genre. Barring a few excellent exceptions, worker placement is usually a fairly solitary affair, where each player carries out their own plan, and the only real interaction between players happens when someone takes an action another player was eyeing up, whether to actively stop them from gaining an advantage, or, more often than not, simply because their plan also needed that action. As far as interaction goes, this is the equivalent of someone taking the last seat on the bus. And personally, I think games should strive to do better. And that's exactly what Dune Imperium does. By having the entire round build up to the battle, it makes players interested in what others around the table are doing. See that one guy that's been collecting spice all game? Now, is he just role-playing as the British Empire, stealing spice and refusing to add it to any of his recipes? Or is he looking to take the highliner action, sending 6 troops straight into combat and usurping your claim as the uncontested winner of the fight? And what about that girl that just chucked a single cube into the fight? She could just be looking to collect the second or third place prize. Or she might have enough intrigue cards under her sleeve to quickly dispose of anyone arrogant enough to challenge her. Like the old Baron used to say, it's all about them wheels within wheels, baby. Speaking of intrigue cards, on one hand, revealing a plot you've had going in the background, or suddenly adding a whole battalion to your combat strength fits perfectly with the theme and feels like peak Dune. But on the other hand, the inherent randomness of drawing cards from the deck can also often make it feel like a total asspool. Sure, all of them grant you some sort of benefit, but there's a pretty stark difference between drawing an end-of-game scoring condition at the start of the game compared to getting it on your very last turn, or getting your hands on a +5 combat strength right before a pivotal battle versus a card that just gives you some spice when you don't even need it. Though, I guess you could say that getting shafted by something completely out of your control is also pretty thematic to do. So yeah, that's about all I've got to say on the game. Sure, I could pad the runtime a bit and talk about the worker placement or deck building elements, but if you've played any games in those genres before, Dune doesn't do anything particularly innovative with them other than meshing the two together. I could also mention all of the leaders and their unique powers, like Oscar Isaac and his passive ability to look hot as fuck even while under the effects of a paralyzing poison, or Timothée Chalamet and his power to absolutely destroy a peach. But again, the leader abilities all play out about as you would expect them to, so it hardly seems worth it to spend time talking about them. Instead, I chose to focus on the elements that stood out the most to me, the ones I feel are Dune Imperium's most unique selling points, because really, when it comes to deciding whether to buy a game or not, they are the ones that matter the most. And, at least in my collection, there's no other game that would offer the same mix of interactive Euro strategy and interesting, engaging conflict with other players as Dune Imperium, so it earns itself a very easy recommendation from me.